Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the energy of your next week. This is a timeless pick a card reading, meaning that it's timeless. So anytime that you come across it, it is valid for you. So there's no time limit associated with it. And it's a pick a card, which means that you get to pick the card, deck, number, or object. I'll be placing objects here in a moment. That is calls to you. So I'd like to talk about the decks I use. First of all, Into the Lonely Woods is new. I have not used that before. That's these larger cards. I'm excited about it. You should be too. And I've got, this is Cosmobeings deck by Joanna Nelson. I did an unboxing of it last week. If you're watching this when I'm uploading. So if you like that deck and you want to see more of it, check out the unboxing of it. Also, please give me a like. I would appreciate it and be eternally grateful. And it's the only time I'm going to ask, and I'm not even going to ask you to subscribe. Just like my video, it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. A reciprocation of energy. So for group number 1, the object I have for that, we're doing crystals today. This is an amethyst crystal cluster. And for group number 2, this is a Druzy agate heart. The Druzy is the crystals that are in there. I think that's why it's called Druzy. And for group number 3, this is a Moss Agate moon. So you can see that it's got like this moss in here. Very beautiful moon. So if you're still not sure which pile to pick, you can do some deep breathing with me. I'm going to close my eyes and you close your eyes too and deep breathe in. And release out any tension, release out any negative energy, set the intention that you are going to get the messages that you need to hear, the messages for your highest good. Deep breath in and release. Go ahead and open your eyes, and now you're engaging your intuition. Wherever your eyes went to, that is the pile for you. My timestamps are down below, and I will meet you at your reading. Thank you. Hello, group 1. If you picked this beautiful amethyst crystal cluster, or you just like the number 1, or for whatever reason, doesn't matter. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So the first card that comes out for you is 33, the Return of the Lost Selves. So this card talks about kind of, it kind of reminds me of the Hermit in Tarot, where because we've got the owl here, and maybe this crystal or whatever this little beastie is holding is like being returned to them, to their core, their spirit, their lost selves. If there's something that you've been searching for or looking for, this is the week to kind of concentrate on that. And I started with the owl because I feel like wisdom, finding that higher wisdom, looking to your higher self. And it also reminds me of Carl Jung. The deck itself doesn't talk about that, but it does talk about like our different selves, because we do have like different aspects of our personalities. Sometimes we hide those from other people. Sometimes we hide them from ourselves. And that's what Carl Jung talked about with our shadow self. And it's embracing all of that. I think the huge part of the shadow self and integrating the shadow and talking about like our dark side, the side that we don't like to look at. When we understand that it's there and we integrate it and we understand that we have this capacity for, you know, maybe not the best, the best stuff or our best selves. When we shine that light on it, we understand that it's there, and then have like a larger control over it. Because if we don't understand our shadow selves or understand our capacity for being mean or being evil or doing wrong, those types of things, it can that underlying personality or that underlying thing can manipulate us. And it happens a lot because there's a lot of people who like, they want to project this idea that they are virtuous and good, but actually they're really kind of jerks to other people in public. And those are people who have not integrated their shadow self. It's extrapolated out into like a bigger spectrum. That's what happens. Like, that's what happened with World War II with Hitler, because he didn't sell to the Germans that, you know, let's do all these evil and terrible things. He was selling this goodness, this purity, and we look back at it now, we're like, that's completely ridiculous. But they didn't think they were bad or evil, and that's what allowed them to do the evil things that they did. So I think that went a little farther probably than what you will go into next week. But you have to understand that we all have like, I don't know, this sense of survival, especially when we put like an us against them kind of thing. And, but if you understand it, if you understand that's there, then we can integrate it, and we can, you know, not only find unity within ourselves, but in our community. And that's the whole point, is really understanding ourselves, really seeing where we are hypocritical and not being, sometimes we beat ourselves up about something like that. Sometimes we like, even something simpler like materialistic things, like you want something because you want it. That's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. You just understand that we all have these types of urges, and that's okay. It doesn't have to, you don't have to be guilty or feel guilt about it. It can all see, and we're getting some really good, good cards here too. This is not a week, yeah. Nine of Swords reversed. This is not a week to do that. It's a week to embrace and love yourself. Beautiful. Yes, exactly. So we've got the 10 of Cups. We've got the High Priestess. We've got 9 of Swords, but reversed. And we've got Strength. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is all about, definitely with the community, the 10 of Cups with our community. And, recognizing that. One of the things that people do on social media is virtual signal, right? Like they want to say they support this. They want to say they support that. They want to say they support this. The underlying of that is maybe some sort of insecurity, because what they will do is come after somebody who doesn't have, let's say, the Ukrainian flag in their profile or something like that. Well, you must not care. That kind of thing. But this is really just being like, yes, I care about everyone. I love everyone. And the irony of that virtual signaling, when they put the latest thing, that Ukrainian flag or whatever it is for the moment, that we're all getting together as a collective and doing this great thing, right? That's the underlying thing that they're saying. But then they go and on a witch hunt and make victims out of other people who aren't following the crowd, who aren't doing what we're doing. Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing going on right now. And that kind of happened there with the, everybody believed Amber Heard when they said that Johnny Depp abused her, and look what happened. It wasn't true, or at least to me, it seems like they're proving that it wasn't true. And he lost out on, and we lost out too, because if you're a Pirates of the Caribbean fan, you lost out on some more Captain Jack Sparrow. I mean, that's a terrible, awful thing when somebody lies about you. But that would be, and I don't think that Amber Heard is learning anything, so you can, but integrating this capacity of, like, just because you're mad at somebody, you can't accuse them of doing wrong things, because it sets out a domino effect. And you can be the victim of that as well, as we're seeing, like, on an extrapolated public scale with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing. But when you love yourself fully and you understand who you are and you understand that we all have flaws, the flaws no longer upset you anymore. The flaws just make you human. Everyone has flaws. Even somebody as perfect, like if you look at Amber Heard and she looked perfect and she looked beautiful, underneath the surface though, that wasn't true, right? We are full and perfect beings in our imperfection. And the High Priestess kind of talks about like going deeper beyond the skin, beyond the, beauty is only skin deep. So going deeper into that and having depth of character and depth of how your emotions and your thoughts, and bringing all of that together into being this very strong. This is the Cosmobeing deck, by the way, this very strong cosmic being. 10 of Cups talks about the community, your family, all loving and enjoying you, even if you feel like you're alone, but you embrace yourself. You have the strength to embrace yourself, the strength to embrace your imperfections. High Priestess again. The stuff that's under the surface, the stuff that can't be seen, very much related here to the return of our lost selves. What is it that you've lost? And you might spend some time thinking about that too. A lot of times we get so involved with what we're doing day to day right now that we do kind of lose, what was it, a year ago that I really wanted to do, that I really had a passion for, or 5 years ago, or in high school. And maybe you do need to come back to some of that stuff and integrate it and look at it. Maybe it is time to take, maybe you really did enjoy dancing and it's time to take a salsa dance class, or, you used to do a lot of yoga, or ride bikes through the woods or something like that. Because this does talk about, really connecting with yourself and what makes you happy, and rediscovering some of those things and bringing them back up. And sometimes we let things go because of our negative thinking, and we feel like, I can't mountain bike the way that I used to when I was 15, 16 years old. It's never too late to get back on that bike and of course do something that's safe for you, but maybe you can't mountain bike those same trails that you did, but maybe you can go around the block. Maybe you can build up your strength and confidence, and this is about building up strength and confidence, and this is about bringing back joy and love. And maybe you do want to visit some of those trails, but maybe you walk it instead of riding your bike through it. For my husband, he rides motorcycles through it. He picked up riding motorcycles at 40. So, dirt bikes. So, and if that is your joy, if that is your passion, if that's what you really want to do, don't let things stop you. Don't let negative thinking stop you. Don't let the idea of that you're too old or it's too late. That's not true. Dig deep inside yourself and find that strength, because strength is about, and I see the 9 of Swords reversed and the Strength card as kind of conquering your own fears, conquering your own thoughts, your own limitations, that the universe is kind of out here that's limitless for you. The High Priestess talks about, there always being more, another layer, another depth, something more, something deeper that you can go into. And strength is your own mind. So absolutely love this for you, especially with the return to the lost selves. The other thing is, especially with the 10 of Cups and even with the Strength card, is like you putting yourself and your best foot forward out here, and people will accept you and love you for who you are. Sometimes we feel like, we won't be accepted, or we think that who we are is so different or so odd, but really you can kind of give strength to somebody else by being who you are. For me personally, it was creating this channel, reading tarot cards and putting that out there in the universe that, hey, this is what I like to do, this is what I do. And I've been amazed by the response that I've had to that, by when I live my dream and my authentic self, how people respond to it. And we've got Loyal Heart, love that, and some more owls here, and then Serendipity with the 4-leaf clover. So very lightness here to this energy, definitely, because even this return to our lost self seems kind of very heavy, and I think that's part of the artwork too, that like I think in the beginning of the week you kind of dipping into some heavy stuff, some heavy subjects, and that is like the High Priestess and kind of the 9 of Swords even in reverse. There's like some little bit of, you know, we've got some work to do, some personal work, some in digging into this, but the owls can take flight, and then the Serendipity and the 10 of Cups is here to remind us that there's, you know, the kind of the joy at the end of this rainbow here of you putting in that work and really asking yourself some tough questions, maybe journaling it out even, of what you find. So I love this Loyal Heart. I love that it is kind of, you know, over here on top of the 10 of Cups. I feel like either a partner or family, friends, like people come around you that you're finding who is loyal to you as well as who you are loyal to. I love that, again, the owls, and the owls with the High Priestess is very much related to wisdom, following your wisdom. Maybe there's a certain amount of logic here. Sometimes logic can go astray, kind of with the 9 of Swords, but we've got that reversed. So you're finally like, nope, I'm not letting negative emotions or negative thoughts cloud my logic. I'm following my bliss. And I feel like Serendipity follows your bliss here. It's just kind of like it's very go with the flow. It's very kind of looking for signs. This is 1835. I'm just looking at the numbers here to see if anything lines up, because it kind of reminds me of angel numbers a little bit, where if you look at a clock and it's 11:11, or if you wake up and in the morning and it's 5:55, repeated numbers, things like that, those have different meanings, and you can look them up online if you'd like, or you can make up your own meanings as to, like, you're wondering if you're on the right life path and you look up and there's 11:11, and it's like, yes, this is a reminder that I'm doing exactly what I need to do. I need to let some of the negativity that's been holding me back, I need to let that go. I really just need to be myself, and I am good enough. I am always good enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. That's from Stuart Smiley from Saturday Night Live, if you're old enough to catch that reference. So it looks like a really beautiful week. It might be like I said again in the beginning, it might be a little heavy, and then it might be a little harder the more you ignore yourself and your desires. But just, you have to release it and let it go and let it flow, and it will then, I feel like the end of the week, you find your strength a little bit. You're walking the steps where you feel like, yes, this is me, this is my path, this is exactly where I need to go, and it feels really, really good. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. Sending you lots of love. I hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks so much for being here with me, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2. If you picked the Druzy Heart, you are in the right spot. So the first card that comes out for you for the energy of this week is 23. The beneath opens up to you. So what's really interesting, first of all, that I just noticed here, 23, and if I'm wrong, just you can roast me in the comments, that's okay. I believe that was Michael Jordan's number, wasn't it? And the reason that it's significant, I think, with this card, because it kind of talks about some disappointment. And it kind of talks about rising up after that disappointment. And why I find it significant that this is Michael Jordan's number, right? Who is, I was going to say arguably the greatest of all time, but I don't think that's even arguable. Again, you can put that in the comments down below. But what I was going to say about him is he wasn't even good enough to make his high school team, right? And he had to dig deep and really find his motivation and really decide what was important to him and then rise up from that. I also feel like the Beneath Opens Up to You might have a connection to a little bit of heartbreak. Whether it is a personal or professional heartbreak. And, you know, I'm looking at this heart here. It has like a gash across it. But look at how beautiful it is, even with it not being full or whole, we shall say. It's beautiful in its imperfection. So I love what the book says about this. This is a new deck for me. And I want to see what the book says about each of my cards here before I give my interpretations, or as I give my interpretations of it. And your heart did not close, even though you were no longer in the small and safe spaces of the surface world. Into the great depths you plunge, your soul a tattered, your heart in pieces, your hands closed and tight. And now look at you. You have found your way into the endless beneath. Your hands gave a gentle touch, and you draw to your shyest of creatures. You know you are above all an ally and friend to their rare nature. You have found a home amongst all of the other misfits of the world, and you are creating your own destiny, which is clear, bright, deep, and more fulfilled with joy and blessings than you could ever have imagined. Dive down, excuse me, I'm sorry. Dive down into the hidden places, bright soul, you and ready your heart for waves of joy. Sorry for that interruption. Even though it seems like you might be hitting rock bottom, or you might be feeling that, it is just another place to grow from. It's a way for you to kind of reevaluate your circumstance and where you are and your values, and go after what you really, really want. I don't think that anybody who is really, truly successful has had an easy path. And it kind of reminds me of those bands that they say that are like an overnight success, or maybe even a comedian that they talk about being an overnight success, and they've been out there grinding for years and working. And but really, I love the little clownfish here. It's a little pop of joy, a little pop of color, and like, hey friend, I'm with you. Let's keep going. All right, so the cards that have come out now, we've got the Knight of Wands reversed, we've got Judgment reversed, we've got Seven of Swords, and we've got Five of Swords reversed. So, first of all, I'm kind of drawn here to the Five of Swords at first, because the Five of Swords can talk about having conflict with other people, and the Beneath Opens Up for you. I feel like you're actually, instead of people that you would normally have a conflict with, you might realize something about them in your hurt. Like maybe you didn't really fully understand them, and maybe you never even took the time to think about them. There was a conflict between the two of you. It could be even that you recognize something in them that is true about yourself that you didn't like. But I feel like you coming beneath the surface, you're realizing that maybe you're more alike these other people than you thought, and communication is really, really important to understanding. And maybe they were speaking to you in a way that you didn't listen. And I feel like when we have the Five of Swords upright, that you're having conflict and you're kind of feeling alone. But when we have it in reverse, like it was over here, I feel like the people around you, you're starting to understand them. An example of this might be your own parents, where you have a conflict with them growing up. You think that they don't care because they don't let you do certain things. And really, as you grow up and you become an adult, and maybe you even have to be a parent yourself, where you finally get the full understanding of, like, that wasn't really a conflict with them. They were really looking out for you, and maybe it wasn't the way that you wanted, and it wasn't the way that but maybe it was the way that you needed. I will say that. So I feel like this opening up is like understanding other people and their circumstances, because when we don't understand, and I'm pointing to that Druzy heart again, that might be part of your broken heart. So I feel like the end of this journey is the understanding of, oh, hey, you know what, we broke up, and that wasn't something personal. It felt personal because, you know, relationships are very, very personal, but it was the best thing for both of you. Or a job that you didn't get. You went to an interview, you really, really wanted it, and in that moment, it feels really terrible, but it was really something that was done for your best interest, and that's what the Seven of Swords is here. I love this Seven of Swords. We'll get to it in a second. But it's like this opportunity, or what was, and you stepping into this new portal and going forward in that way. So Knight of Wands reversed. I feel like there's a lot of thinking going on for you, especially in this, what's opened up. So the Knight of Wands reversed and Judgment reversed. Judgment is kind of like, can be kind of like a rebirth and renewal. And I don't think, you know, sometimes the reverse of it is like the opposite of that. I just think that you need to think about your rebirth and renewal first. It's not like on the nose. It's not like immediate kind of thing. So I think that rebirth and renewal is for you. It's just not an immediate thing. You have to, you know, just kind of contemplate some things to begin with. Also with Judgment, when it's in reversed, I feel like it is, you know, we make snap judgments about people, things, places, objects, everything in our world all the time. And I feel like it's like, hey, maybe you need to rethink some things. Maybe you need to rethink some underlying, maybe not necessarily values, but certainly some underlying things that you maybe learned in childhood that is coming up right now. One example that I use a lot here is like in 5th grade, my teacher told us that girls couldn't play with boys on the playground. We couldn't do it. And I never questioned her. I never thought about that. And then years later, I'm like, wait, why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why can't girls play soccer with boys? Like, I could play soccer with boys. Why did and it was really kind of her judgment that influenced me. It influenced my behaviors. And until I, you know, at the time, I just accepted it. But now I like really think about it. And I kind of wish I would have said something to my mom at the time, but you don't, you know, this is a person of authority. This is a person you're not supposed to question, and they give you a value and you just take it on. And I feel like when we're, the beneath opens up to you, you're like, wait a second, why do I have this thought that shouldn't be there? I don't know how old you are, but in the, I think it was in the 90s. It could be late 80s, early 90s. I think it was in the 90s though. There was a Barbie and she said, math is hard, right? And on the surface of that, it's like, you know, who cares? Like, a doll thinks math is hard. But when little girls are playing with that, then they just take this thought on. That's why it was such a big deal that she said that, because we, we want you to engage in math and you to decide if it's hard for you or not. We don't want that thought to be put there without a filter, to be put there and to be put on you, and for you to just take that in when you're a little sponge, when you're a kid. So that's why it was such a big deal. That was why it was really wrong of that to happen. And now, if you have gone through all of this math and, you know, you're in high school and you've gone through years and years and years of it, and you're just like, you know, that's not for me, that's okay, because you've actually experienced it. So this judgment, I feel like, is in reverse because you need to kind of pull some strings here of thought and figure out why you feel certain ways and why you think certain things, because I feel like that's going to set you free. And I feel like the Seven of Swords over here and the Five of Swords reverse is about a level of freedom, a level of release. Knight of Wands reverse is just telling us we need to slow down. The Knight of Wands is somebody who moves very, very fast and who's very, very passionate about something. And the problem is that the Knight of Wands doesn't necessarily think about where he's going or what he's doing. He's just like, oh, react. He's very impulsive. And this is saying, no, just pull that back. You can be excited about something. That's definitely, it's great to be excited about something, but you need to think about it. You need to think about it and do it strategically, is what the Seven of Swords is saying. Seven of Swords can talk about sneaking around. It can talk about doing something behind somebody's back. But again, I feel like that's kind of a judgment here. An example I give is if you are not happy at your current job or your current position and you're sending out resumes, you don't tell your current employer that you're doing that. In fact, I think it's even illegal for your new job to contact them, or they'll ask you for references and they'll ask you if it's okay to contact them. And they won't do it until you let your current job know that you're searching or you're looking or whatever. But you don't let them know for a lot of reasons. It's none of their business. But if you have a relationship with your boss might feel like, you know, you're doing something behind their back. But it's all perspective, I think. And I feel like this is, you're definitely letting some things go. You're leaving some things behind. You're moving on. And these things, swords often represent thoughts. These are ways that you have thought in the past that are no longer serving you and they're holding you down and they're weighing you down. And you've got to let that go. Going back to the example I gave of 23 and Michael Jordan, if he would have accepted in high school when he wasn't good enough to play for his high school basketball team, that he wasn't good enough, he would have never gone on to accomplish and do the things that he did. That was somebody's judgment that he didn't agree with. And he dug deep and was like, you know what, maybe I do accept that my coach doesn't think I'm good enough right now. What is it that I need to do to become good enough, right? I need to be strategic. I need to think about what it is, the skills that I need. I need to think about what I need to do. I need to think about the work that I need to put in. So being strategic for you and what makes sense for you. Happy. I love that. And not for you. Very interesting. Okay, let's start with happy. When happy comes over judgment here, I kind of feel like what you want to do, maybe people have told you that it's wrong or you shouldn't want that, or you feel some sort of guilt around it, and we need to release that guilt. We need to let it go. What you want is probably right for you. This can come in the form of, I know artists who are very, very talented, but people tell them things like, you'll never be able to be an artist or live off of your art or anything, things like that. And I feel like this is you finding a way to integrate that, or to be that, or to do that. And I can tell you that I worked as a graphic artist. I worked on a website for a large retailer, and you can live off of your art. Now, maybe sometimes it's not exactly the art that you want to make, and that's okay. I have an artist friend who, like, a motorcycle shop wanted her to do a mural. You know, maybe it's something like that. So your judgment attached to it, maybe you aren't going to be Picasso, but do you really want to be Picasso? And it's finding this balance kind of between what you want to do and how you think that you can accomplish it. Maybe it's a job like trading stocks, something like that, where there is this really negative connotation attached to it in some way, but there's nothing negative about making sure that you have food, making sure that you have a roof over your head, making sure that you're providing for other people in your family. There's nothing negative about that, and being happy while you do it. So follow your bliss, and this is what this is, digging deep. And I feel like there's some conflicts in here with what you've been told in the past, what paths to success. There are people who tell us what the paths to success are they truly happy and successful? Sometimes they're not. So you need to look at that and include that into your evaluation. And then we have the not for you. And it says, the fortune cookie says, nope. So there are opportunities that you need to judge and see if it's for you. And I feel like this is really related to the Seven of Swords, that there are things that you can just leave behind because you realize that's not for me anymore. I've grown, I've shed that skin, that is not me anymore. And that is okay. We don't have to be everything to everyone. We just need to be what we need to be for ourselves, right? For the people around us, for the people that we are responsible for. And I also love that the not for you is kind of like on this chessboard, this chess game, because it's very black and white. It's very like this way or that way. I think it relates back to judgment a little bit, because a lot of times we think that we're either this or that, or A or B. We're Democrat, we're Republican, we're Team Johnny, or we're Team Amber, those types of things. And I don't even want to be on any of those teams. And that's okay. You can question those types of judgments. You can question those types of categories that people put you in, and you can be your own category, because you are your own person. You are your own being. We're all unique. There's nobody else that has the same thoughts and feelings and values as you, and that is okay. And sometimes, and I feel like that's kind of this Five of Swords energy over here as well. When you feel this conflict of people trying to put you in some sort of category, or you even trying to fit yourself in some sort of category, and then you automatically, because you're in this category, you dislike people in the other category. And I don't like the way that works. I don't know how you are. I feel like you don't like the way it works either. I feel like that's why you're digging deep here. And I feel like we are creating a universe where that's not how it is, and that's not how it has to be. And I feel like pushing ourselves into these rigid categories that nobody should have to fit into is what kind of can break our heart as well. So that's what I have for you, group 2. I feel like you need to do for you, and I feel like this is a very happy ending for you, even if you're coming into this week kind of like distraught. And I do feel like you have allies out there, even if they don't look anything like you, because you can see this here. This little clownfish is coming like, hey, are you okay, buddy? What are you doing down here? And you realize that you are actually more like the people that you've been fighting than different from them. And you being different from everyone else is okay too. So love you, group 2. Hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 3. If you picked this beautiful Moss Moss Agate moon, you are in the right place. So the first card that comes out for you is Time to Move On, 22. We've got this butterfly carrying this little being away. This speaks to transformation. This speaks to, just loss. It can be a love loss. It can be a loss of something personal, financial, and maybe even in your job. That it's just this feeling of loss and moving on. But transformation is really important. The book itself for this card specifically kind of speaks, I think, more towards love. There is sorrow when someone no longer feels the way they once did about you. But no, you lit a light in their lives. Even though the time has passed, for your tales to intertwine, the losing of bonds of love need not be bitter. For now you must take your leave to refine who you are next to become. And I think that's really important, that part there. Who you are next to become. You will not be lost when you follow the darkening path into the unknown. You will wander, but there are fragments of your soul waiting for you to find them along the way. Be content with the light you carry within and the light you have lit with others. These will be the guides on the mysterious path before you. What I think is really important, it kind of reminds me of looking for a job. And somebody said this once. They were like, well, I was looking for a job when I found this one. And I think it's important to kind of remember that this is not, whatever is ending is not like the end all be all. You'll never go on to find something else. You were looking for something when you found that. And now when you're looking and you're putting yourself out there and you're looking for something again, you will find what you are, what's along your path. You will find what you're vibrating with. You will find what you're looking for. Maybe in this moment it doesn't feel like that, but I feel like, because this little guy is kind of looking down at the ground and maybe feeling sorry for himself, but this butterfly, I feel like is change and fate and is taking you along the way. Yeah, 10 of Swords. Okay. 10 of Swords talks about kind of it's very much an ending. And it usually is, I mean, you've got 10 swords sticking out of your back, so that's not pleasant. See what else comes out. 3 of Cups. So yeah, there's joy again. Maybe it is time to rejoin a friend group. Wheel of Fortune. A lot of endings here. Okay, and then we've got 3 of Wands and we've got Temperance. Okay, cool. Those two came out together, so I'm going to take them. Usually I only take 4 cards. 10 of Swords, sorry. I think I was saying 10 of Wands. 10 of Swords. Very emotional, very feeling like you, maybe death by 1,000 cuts. People talking about you behind your back. Gossip. It feels like it's really hurts. And kind of very much the same almost posture, even though these are 2 different decks here. Looking down, looking at what is lost. And a lot of times what is lost, it's not even really that was lost. It was kind of like the idea of that. If what you, in relationships, what you think that you lost, like I said, it's the idea of that. It's usually the idea of the person that you thought they were, or you thought they could be, or the potential of it. It's not exactly even that person. And if it really was that thing that you thought it was, it wouldn't have ended, right? Because you deserve that thing that you thought it was. You deserve that potential. You deserve that person who loves you as much as you love them, and who puts in that energy as much as you put in the energy. You deserve that joy. And I feel like this is, of course we want to take stock or take take a look around at what we were in, what was our situation before we move forward. And I feel like that is part of this. But Three of Cups is a very happy card. This is connecting with friends. This is a joy here. And we also have the Three of Wands. So we've got 2 threes. This is moving forward. This is not dwelling on the past. This is finding the way that you want to go and moving forward with it. So there is forward movement here. There is a, and it's not like a no looking back, but it is more of more looking forward to your future and that you have a bright future. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune can kind of feel like luck. Because it can be kind of like a karmic energy or a chaotic energy at times. Sometimes you're up at the top, sometimes you're down at the bottom. This wheel is always turning, but I feel like that's really important when you're in the 10 of Swords energy, when it's in the time to move on energy, when you feel like you're at the bottom here, because this too shall pass. And there will be times when you are at the top, and there will be times when fortune turns to your way. I feel like when it's upright though, it's time for you to kind of look up from your path, look up from where you're dwelling, and really take control of where you're going. And I feel like when we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Wands, the Three of Wands is you setting out and putting forth a plan and moving forward. It's actual movement. He doesn't look like it here, but he's about to cross this water. Water can talk about emotions. You're about to not necessarily get rid of those emotions, but not let them stop you. You're not going to let them manipulate you, hold you back. You're moving forward and moving on from that. The Wheel of Fortune and the Temperance, those are both major energies. They're major arcana cards and they're major energies. So it's talking about stepping up and taking control here. Temperance came out in reverse, and Temperance talks about balance, a balance of your emotional state, a balance of your physical state, a balance of your mind and your body, a balance of, your work and your social life. So don't forget, or your family and all of those things. It's balancing these out, and it's bringing kind of like, when it's in reverse, I feel like there's a little bit of a chaotic energy, and the Wheel of Fortune can speak to kind of a chaotic energy too. And I feel like this balance and this moving forward and this kind of like understanding of where you are and it's just putting that foot forward, moving to where you want to be, that will help you balance it out. I feel like maybe the Three of Cups is here is because it's reminding you that it's time, that even though you're sad, that there are times of joy. And when your friends invite you out or when they ask you how you are, don't ignore that. I feel like, maybe the last thing you really want to do is go out, and that's fine. But you need to do something. You need to get out of this funk, as it were, and again put this wheel in motion, and have a plan for yourself. So maybe you do need to think about that plan, and maybe a friend is the perfect person to talk to about that, to release and let go, because 10 of Swords, even though as terrible as this card looks with all these swords in the back, it's an ending, right? It goes from the Ace to the 10, and then we start a cycle over again. Wheel of Fortune is a cycle as well. We have this physical representation of the earth as a cycle as well. When we go from spring to summer to fall to winter, and things are an ebb and flow and an up and down, and that's okay. And realize again, this too shall pass. But I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Wands over here, it's important for you to understand that this will pass and for you to actually take control of your future. And a lot of times in relationships, we might lose ourselves, or it can even be in a job. Like we're living up to somebody else's expectations. And I think that this is a great opportunity for you to live up to your own expectations and for you to because I almost feel like the Temperance in reverse, that it's reversed here is because maybe there wasn't you lost yourself a little bit. There wasn't necessarily a you in that relationship. And sometimes that's even harder because you gave up so much for this person or for this relationship or for this job. Like you just gave it everything and it wasn't enough. And it feels like a major rejection in that way, but it's not you. It's not you. It's the situation wasn't right. And I feel like no one is going to be perfect in that situation. It wasn't right. It wasn't right for you. And there's brighter things coming here. And like I said, the balance was completely off. And I feel like you were lost a little bit. And it's kind of hard when you're lost that, because then you have to kind of like not only like find yourself again, and then move on as well. And that's okay. You gotta find yourself, and sometimes we redefine ourselves. But I think it's really important here with the butterfly that, you know, a caterpillar redefines and finds themselves, and they become something way more beautiful. They become the butterfly. Community. Cool. So the community card comes out over here on top of the Three of Cups. So if you're asking yourself, how am I ever going to get over this? How am I ever? It's the community. And it doesn't have to even be friends that you have right now. There's Facebook communities for, you know, I'm like, if you were dating a narcissist, for instance, you can find a Facebook group for that. But it doesn't even need to be related to your loss. It can be related to what you want to gain going forward. It can be a community of people who want to learn how to paint, for instance. And I feel like, you know, whatever that underlying thing is that you have lost in yourself, maybe you lost a spark, maybe you stopped doing your artwork, maybe you stopped writing. There's communities for writers. There's community for tarot readers. There's community for astrology. There's all sorts of communities out there that you can find and you can connect with people. I love this, for me personally, putting out this tarot reading community, and I find other tarot readers that I talk to, and you know, we're experiencing the same things, so we can talk to each other and we can connect and you know, move forward together. And I love that ebb and flow of a relationship. And I feel like maybe you didn't have that before, but you should move towards that. An unfinished symphony. We've got 10 and 10 here. So you've got 2 3s and you've got 10 and 10. Okay, I'm just looking at the other numbers. So 2 10s, 2 3s, unfinished symphony. You're not done. This is not, like, even though I said like 10 is a completion card here, this kind of feels like the end of maybe the first melody, we'll say, but the whole thing is not done, like not at all in an instant. And sometimes when we have a loss, we feel like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? I have no direction. I have no idea where I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm going to do. And this is a chance for you to totally change up the melody and make it your own. I feel like maybe you've been influenced, and we all go through this. Personally, it's been certain jobs that I've just been like, yeah, we're the best. Whatever company that I'm working for. And then I find myself like not at that job anymore. And I'm like, there's different ways of thinking about that subject. There's different ways of thinking about that, the competition that we had, or, maybe we weren't necessarily the best and I thought we were, that kind of thing. So you change up your symphony. Where are you going from here? And I love that it is over the Wheel of Fortune, and I love that it's over this Three of Wands, because it is you planning and you picking it up and going forward. This part over here may have been a duet. This part over here may just be you continuing forward on your own. That's okay. It may be continuing with a different group. That's okay. And it's still going to be beautiful, but it's still for you to make. So don't spend so much time wallowing in sadness that you don't realize, because there's a lot of beauty over here. There's a lot of opportunity for you to grow and move and become a more complex creature, a deeper, stronger person. And I love that for you. So that's what I have for you, Group 3. I hope that you have a fantastic week. I'm sorry for whatever is making you feel lost over here, but I feel like there is enough here that you can connect to and really turn this around for yourself. So love you so much. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next reading.